Commentary on Revelation 15, verse 1 to 8. Revelation 15 serves as a transitional vision, bringing the cycle of judgment to its climactic conclusion. The imagery is temple centered, covenantal, and deeply rooted in the language of Israel's history, especially the Exodus and prophetic judgments against covenant unfaithfulness. Verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. The phrase, another sign, connects this vision to earlier symbolic revelations, CFA, the woman and the dragon. The 7 last plagues signal completion. This is not a new sequence, but the finishing stroke. The language of filled up conveys the idea of something reaching its full measure, echoing the covenantal principle of accumulated judgment, CFF Genesis 15:16, Matthew 23:32. This is not arbitrary wrath, but the consummation of a long developing covenantal crisis. The system that had rejected and opposed the Messiah now reaches its appointed end. Verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. The sea of glass recalls earlier throne room imagery, Revelation 4:6, but now it is mingled with fire, indicating judgment. The sea often symbolizes chaos or separation. Here it is subdued and transformed. Those standing upon it are described as victorious, not through earthly conquest, but through faithfulness amid opposition. Their victory is already secured. They stand in a position of rest and authority. The harps and their posture suggest priestly worship. They are not awaiting deliverance, they are celebrating a finished one. Verses 3-4, and they sing the song of Moses and the song of the Lamb. This is a fusion of 2 redemptive moments. The Exodus, Song of Moses, Exodus 15, the redemptive work of the Lamb. By combining these, the text presents a new and greater Exodus, not from Egypt, but from the old covenant order that had become oppressive and obsolete. The emphasis is on God's ways great and marvelous, his ways as just and true, his holiness being revealed to the nations. The mention of all nations coming to worship signals a shift from a localized covenant people to a universal reality. What was once confined is now openly manifested. Verse 5, and after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. The opening of the heavenly temple signifies divine disclosure. What was once hidden is now revealed. The tabernacle of the testimony recalls the dwelling place of God among his people, but here it is seen in its heavenly reality. This opening precedes judgment, indicating that what follows is not random destruction, but covenantal accountability rooted in God's revealed presence. Verses 6-7. And the 7 angels came out of the temple, clothed in pure and white linen. The angels emerge from the temple, showing that the judgments originate from God's holiness and justice. Their garments, pure and priestly, reinforce that this is a sacred act, not merely punitive. The golden vials full of the wrath of God are reminiscent of priestly vessels. This imagery frames judgment as part of divine administration, not contradiction. The wrath described here is not emotional volatility, but the righteous response to covenant violation, reaching its appointed end. Verse 8, and the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues were fulfilled. The smoke recalls moments when God's presence filled the temple, Exodus 40:34-35, 1 Kings 8, verse 10-11, preventing entry. It signifies overwhelming divine glory and finality. The inability to enter the temple indicates that this is a moment of irreversible completion. The process has reached its conclusion. There is no interruption, no delay. The emphasis again is on fulfillment. What had been building throughout the narrative now reaches its decisive end. Summary. Insight Revelation 15 portrays the closing phase of a covenantal transition. The old order, having reached its full measure, is brought to completion. The faithful are already seen as victorious, standing in the reality of what has been accomplished. The imagery of Exodus is reinterpreted to show a greater deliverance. Judgment is presented not as contradiction to grace, but as the necessary conclusion of a system that had fulfilled its purpose and resisted its fulfillment. The chapter is less about impending doom and more about the unveiling of completion. where divine justice, faithfulness, and redemptive purpose converge in finality.